10 TV co-stars who hated each other's guts. Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Screeny. Have you ever had that one coworker who's constantly getting on your nerves and turning each moment into a living nightmare? Well, you're not the only one. Even actors who earn millions of bucks went through the same thing with co-stars they couldn't stand. Tensions were running high behind the scenes of our favorite TV shows, and the stars who seemed like best friends transformed into bitter rivals once the cameras stopped rolling. Let's take a look at 10 TV co-stars who hated each other's guts. Remember to press the subscribe button so you can catch up on more fun facts about your favorite movies and TV shows every day. Number 10. Sarah Jessica Parker vs. Kim Cattrall. Fans of Sex and the City spent years wishing they had a bond Samantha and Carrie shared. But the actresses behind these characters weren't besties in real life. Their off-screen feuds had been brewing for 2 decades, and it started long before all hell broke loose when Kim Cattrall refused to reprise her role in the 3rd Sex and the City movie. The actress who played Samantha Jones constantly felt rejected by her co-stars on the set of HBO's hit drama and wanted to leave it behind. She took her rivalry with Sarah Jessica Parker to a whole new level once they started filming spin-off movies. Cattrall was furious after learning her co-star was earning more than anyone else, and by the time the producers started planning the 3rd movie, she was no longer on board. No money in the world could convince her to work with the woman who treated her horribly for years. Jessica Parker tried to reach out after Cattrall's brother passed away, but she wasn't having any of it, and described her former co-star as a hypocrite who's exploiting her tragedy to restore her nice girl persona. Number 9. Ariana Grande versus Jeanette McCurdy and Victoria Justice. Ariana Grande is so big right now, it's easy to forget she was once a Nickelodeon child star who spent years playing second best to Victoria Justice. After Victorious was cancelled, some of the fans blamed the Dangerous Woman singer, but she denies the numerous rumors she was the reason why the show ended. Grande claims the series was over because one of the stars wanted to focus on her solo tour instead, and it was obvious who she was referring to. Justice immediately responded by saying some people would throw a friend under the bus just to make themselves look good. If that doesn't seem like enough drama, Grande wasn't on the best terms with her Sam and Cat co-star Jeanette McCurdy either, who admitted they butted heads at times, but in a very sisterly way. Fans started doubting her words once McCurdy introduced a new character called Gloriana on her web series What's Next for Sarah. She had a high-pitched voice and an obsessive interest in all things sparkly, just like her Sam and Cat co-star. Number 8. William Shatner versus George Takei. Watching Captain Kirk and Mr. Sulu side by side created the illusion the actors playing them must be the best of buddies off screen, but their relationship was pretty tense. William Shatner and George Takei never got along, and their long-standing feud made the headlines on several occasions over the last 4 decades. Star Trek insiders claim Shatner didn't only have issues with Takei. A few of his co-stars complained about his big ego and superior demeanor, but Takei was the only one who dared to call him self-centered in person. Shatner took trash talking to a whole new level and described his co-star as psychotic and a very disturbed individual. The actor behind Captain Kirk later explains that he and Takei never had a meaningful conversation because he was always too busy learning his lines and dealing with other things. Shatner admitted his own lack of attention prevented them from developing a deeper connection, and it became obvious the two men are still feuding after Takei failed to invite Shatner to his wedding in 2008. Number 7. Will Smith versus Jeanette Hubert. Will Smith seems like a happy-go-lucky guy who would never get in a brawl with anyone, but that's far from reality. Jeanette Hubert didn't have such a great experience working with him on the set of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and blamed him for her firing in 1993. She felt Smith was an egomaniac who only cared for himself, and he proved it by not helping the rest of his Fresh Prince castmates during salary negotiations. It's been over 2 decades since then, and Hubert still hasn't buried the hatchet. She's holding a grudge against the Men in Black actor and constantly blaming him for ruining her career. Shortly after her firing, Smith said he felt like Hubert is trying to steal the spotlight. After 10 years in the show business, she didn't feel it's fair this snotty-nosed punk got his own show. And that was the reason why she hated this so much. Number 6. Michele versus Naya Rivera. McKinley High was home to several off-screen feuds, but the one between Michele and Naya Rivera easily takes the cake. Their on-screen relationship on the set of Glee started a bitter rivalry, and the two actresses apparently didn't know how to stop playing these roles. Even after their characters found common ground, the two young stars didn't know how to do the same. The two were allegedly involved in a crazy altercation on the set of the popular teen musical. It was rumored that Michele wanted to see Rivera kicked off the show, and her wish was eventually granted. Naya was written out of the final 2 episodes of season 5 and didn't return as a series regular next year. She later opened up about this messy experience in her book, Sorry Not Sorry: Dreams, Mistakes, and Growing. Rivera wrote that the rumors of their feud were blown out of proportions, but confirms they didn't really get on that well because Michele didn't like sharing the spotlight. Number 5. Katic versus Nathan Fillion. Going to couples counseling with someone you're not even dating seems like a weird thing to do, but that's the only thing Castle producers could come up with after going through hell because the stars of the show couldn't get along. According to several sources, Katic and Nathan Fillion completely despised each other, despite the great chemistry between their characters, who even got married after a few seasons. Things got so bad after a while they couldn't even speak to each other off set, and it all started because Stana was constantly bullied by her male co-stars. Several insiders confirmed that she wasn't the only one who had a problem with Fillion. A lot of people who worked on the show just didn't like him, but they were much better at hiding their disdain. Stana couldn't compose herself, and she would often go to her dressing room and cry after facing his nasty comments. She just wanted to get on set and get the job done, but her feud with Nathan made it difficult, and the show was cancelled shortly after she decided to leave. Number 4. Blake Lively and Leighton Meester. Serena and Blair's intense frenemy relationship was one of the things that kept Gossip Girl going for 6 seasons, but their off-screen dynamic was even frostier. Blake Lively and Leighton Meester reportedly avoided each other like the plague, and their beef was constantly making headlines until the show ended. It was never quite clear why the two were feuding, but they were never BFFs and never pretended to be. Some claims the whole thing started when Leighton calls Blake an egomaniac, while others believe Lively was jealous of Meester's wardrobe budget. Things got heated after Blake failed to reach out to her on-screen bestie and congratulate her on her engagement to Adam Brody. That was a low blow, and the two stars reportedly stopped talking to each other after that. They struggled to build a friendship from the very start, but this incident was the final nail in the coffin, and the two stayed away from each other from that point on. Number 3. Chad Michael Murray versus Sophia Bush. Imagine breaking up with someone and having to work with them for half a decade after your split. Well, that's what happened to Chad Michael Murray and Sophia Bush. The two met and fell in love on the set of One Tree Hill, but rushing into a quickie marriage proved to be a huge mistake. Chad apparently didn't stay faithful for too long and cheated on Sophia with none other than Paris Hilton, his co-star in disastrous horror movie House of Wax. Bush later described her and Chad as two stupid kids who had no business being in a relationship in the first place. That didn't change the fact that she was devastated by the divorce because she was reduced to a Hollywood statistic and another joke marriage. Despite having a hard time working alongside the man she despised, Bush managed to keep her cool because her job was her main priority. Number 2. Shannon Doherty versus Alyssa Milano and Jenny Garth. Shannon Doherty was one of Hollywood's quintessential bad girls back in the day and managed to start drama on the set of each show she starred in. Filming Beverly Hills 90210 wasn't a very pleasant experience for the actress because she had a difficult time getting along with her co-star Jenny Garth. She said there were times when they wanted to claw each other's eyes out, but the two weren't bitter rivals the media painted them as. They were just young girls finding their way and finding their individual voices. Things didn't get any better after Doherty left the series to pursue other projects. She was cast as one of the leads in Charmed, but even the power of 3 couldn't salvage her relationship with co-star Alyssa Milano. The two actresses had a ton of conflicts on set, and the producers solved the problem by kicking Shannon out. Number 1. David Duchovny versus Gillian Anderson. David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson were one of our favorite TV duos throughout the 90s, but their working relationship was always on shaky legs. The X-File actors admitted that they couldn't stand the sight of each other and constantly argued about nothing. Duchovny explained this by saying familiarity breeds contempt, and it definitely caused turmoil between the two leading stars. The actor admitted that there were times when they were both acting crazy and driving each other nuts, but they were mature enough to see what was happening and say sorry. That doesn't change the fact that they weren't very close and rarely talked about their personal lives. Duchovny and Anderson spent more years with each other than in any other relationship they've ever had. But the proximity never made them close. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content, and don't forget to check out one of the other two videos on your screen.